What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another awesome summary video. Today I'm going to be ranking all 8 Skylanders giants with a very special guest, Skylanders Gaming TV. His link is down in the description. Make sure you guys go sub to him. And you won't get mad at me or a lot for how long my intros are. So we're just going to get right into it. So roll the intro.
Raiders plunder without mercy until no place was safe.
So let's start with my number 8. My number 8 goes to the Magic Giant. I have him just over here. The Magic Giant Ninjini. She's never been that powerful. I never thought she was that powerful. And so I can't give her a high ranking. She's probably also my least used giant. But my number 8 goes to Nin.
The ranking giants for me, it's a bit tough because there's really only one giant that I don't like that much. And that giant is number 8 for me, Ninjini. Ninjini is probably one of the slower giants, and giants are already super slow. At least in our own game, her attacks are very slow. I don't think her bottle attack is really all that practical. It just doesn't really work for me, honestly. And yeah, also one of my least favorite designs for giants as well. Overall, just Ninjini, not that good. But other than Ninjini, the rest of this list, very hard to do for me because I like all these characters, but I'm going to try my best.
Okay, so now we're going to my number 7, which is honestly a giant I forget is a giant a lot of the time, which is Swarm. Swarm is a giant I usually forget about, and he is the air giant. And also, the air element was really lacking in this game with Jetpack, and this I've learned to kind of deal with Jetpack. But number 7 goes to Swarm.
Number 7 for me is Crusher. He's pretty slow, and I do think that his giant hammer attack can also be pretty slow to deal with. However, he can turn people to stone. That's really cool. And I also like his ability where he turns into giant, little stone rocks and you kind of roll around the place. That's also pretty cool. Just, it's not enough for him to be higher on the list, unfortunately.
Number 6 goes to Hothead. I am okay with Hothead. These are the ones I like, and these were honestly pretty hard to rank. Besides Swarm and Ninjini. The rest of them are ones I like. Hothead has his motorcycle ability. Of course, all the giants are like for. He lights up in his head. For some reason, I don't know why they didn't light these up. For us to say, Ninjini lights up in her eyes and her back and her legs. Swarm lights up in his eyes and his swords. But Hothead takes the number 6.
6 is Eyebrow. His punches are pretty awesome. However, his eye attack, I don't think that does a lot for him. His eye kind of floats around and shoots lasers while his body kind of punches around. I just never really use that attack. As well as when he makes little mini eyes come out of the ground and fight for him. That also just doesn't really work out for me. So I'm kind of just stuck using his main attack only, which is decent. But like I said for Crusher, it's just not going to be enough to get him higher on the list.
Number 5 goes to Bouncer. He is honestly probably one of, these final 5 are very, Skylanders close in my, top 30. Bouncer, he is honestly the weakest out of my top 5, besides maybe number 4. He might be a little weaker, but I love the design and the next one a lot more. So my number 5 goes to Bouncer.
At number 5, we got Swarm. I do think that him being able to fly is pretty cool for a giant because it makes him go faster, which is something I really like since a lot of the giants are slow. And the fact that he can attack during him flying is also very nice. I think his straight up just where he slashes his, I guess you could call them swarms. I really don't know what they're called as swords. That does a decent amount of damage and is pretty fun. However, I always just find myself using that main attack. I never really start flying around unless I'm trying to get to a point A to point B very fast. And I'd be lying if I told you I completely remember what his third attack is. I think it's where he shoots hornets at. Oh, it's not. It's where he turns into a swarm of bees, and I just never use that attack ever. So that's why he's at 5 and not high.
Okay, my number 4 goes to Eyebrow. Him and Bouncer are almost on the same exact level for me, but Eyebrow's design is a tad bit better. And Bouncer got the name Bouncer before Skylanders even put bouncing in the game, jumping, for some reason. And I just love Eyebrow, and of course he did get a mini, and it's one of the only minis. I have Ninjini and Eye Small from Giant. Well, not from Giants, so the version but they work in Giants. So I'm gonna give number 4 to Eyebrow.
At 4, we got Bouncer, a very good giant if you like to spam with giants, because his finger trigger guns are also they're really effective. They're really good. That's why he's 4 on the list. But his other attacks, you're just never gonna use his other attacks. His attack where he shoots a laser out, where he kind of stiffens up and shoots a laser out, you're never gonna use that attack. Let's be real. And his attack where he just spins, shoots a missile, not good. And then the laser attack, it's fun to use, but are you really ever going to use it in an actual situation? You're probably not. However, his finger guns are so effective. They're so good. And also as well, you can turn those finger guns into giant fists and they shoot. That's also pretty cool. They are very effective when it comes to that. Just sadly, his other attacks, you're never going to use them. So that's why he's at 4, not higher.
Number 3, these guys are all in my top 10 favorite Skylanders. Number 3 goes to Thumpback. He's just got a very massive, good giant. He was also in my top 10 Skylanders I thought were underrated, which I still think he deserved to be in that. And so I'm going to give number 3 to Thumpback, and he lights up in his arms, and Eyebrow lights up in his head, and Bouncer lights up in his chest and eyes. But number 3 goes to Thumpback.
At number 3, I have Hothead. I think Hothead is a very underrated Skylander. I don't know why people don't talk about him more. I think he's really awesome. He can turn into a motorcycle. That's really cool. I think his oil attack, where you can shoot out oil and turn the oil on fire, that's so effective. It's really nice to use it. I do think his attack where he makes it rain fire is not that strong. I don't really use that attack. But his main attack where he shoots out fire, his oil attack where you can shoot out oil and then turn the oil on fire, very awesome. And his motorcycle, although while really are you going to use it a lot? No, it's pretty awesome, honestly, and I just kind of use it for fun to get around places. I think he's a really cool looking giant, so yeah, he's my 3rd favorite giant.
Number 2 goes to the giant you get in the starter pack. The giant I went over in the collab with Pokey Scott and a bunch of YouTubers. I'm also linked that down below. Make sure to go watch that video if you haven't. But number 2 goes to Tree Rex. The giant you get in the starter pack, and the 2nd best giant in the entire game. I love this man so much. He's very powerful, very strong, and my original Tree Rex actually broke, and I had to get a whole new one. This is my new one, of course. And his arm, if you look at it, my arm, you can move it down and up for some reason. I don't know why. I think the arm is loose. That's my number 3, and we're going to move on to number 2. We're going to move on.
At 2, I got Thumpback. I think he's the most underrated giant out there. I don't think a lot of people put Thumpback high on their list, which I don't understand personally. He's awesome. First of all, a humpback whale as a Skylander, perfect for the water element. I'm so glad they chose that design for him. And I think his swing attack is really awesome. I think it's very effective. You get that long range where you can swing at enemies. His chomp attack, I think it's pretty underrated. I think it's a very good attack. And then his slide ability, you can just wipe out multiple enemies with that slide ability. He's a really awesome Skylander. He can shoot out water out of his mouth sometimes. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think the Thumpback is a very underrated Skylander. However, he's not my number 1.
And my number 1 is Crusher. Some people's least favorite giant. He's strong. He's only problem I have with Crusher is he's slow. He's got a very sick design. He's strong, like most of the giants, and probably is the giant I would pick most of the time. Well, really, I would probably pick this Tree Rex more, but I do have a little bit more love for Crusher. Crusher was actually the last giant I picked up I believe I picked him up during Swap Force era. Maybe during Swap Force. But I'm giving number 1 to Crusher. And I want to give a very special thanks.
That's because my number 1 is T-Rex. I think T-Rex is like a top 5, top 10 Skylander of all time. He's awesome. Every single one of your attacks you're going to use. His photosynthesis cannon. Awesome. You know, his rush ability where he just puts his arm out like that and rushes you. That's awesome. His slam. Classic attack. And it's awesome. It's devastating enemies. He's also one of the coolest looking Skylanders ever. He might be one of the coolest looking Skylanders ever. I mean, he's awesome looking. I'm so happy they went with that design choice over like an actual T-Rex, which was their original idea. He looks awesome the way he is. And I'm glad he's a starter pack Skylander because most people about Giants can see how awesome T-Rex is. So yeah, T-Rex, my number 1 all time. Okay, Sunburning Skylanders, thank you for having me on this video. I'll be watching. Subscribe to him and have a great day. Peace.